4 years back, when we started Being Cambrianite as a podcast, the entire idea was to bring to you interesting stories of Cambrianites and what helped Cambrianites to become who they became as a person. Right? However, over a period of time, we also got to understand, in fact, I got to experience that it's also wonderful to try and touch the making of a Cambrianite. And for making of a Cambrianite, the most important aspect was the teachers who taught us in this institute and who made us a Cambrianite. So making of a Cambrianite is what I think is an important aspect which we wanted to touch. And the podcast for today touches that very aspect, the making of a Cambrianite. A lot of people ask me, how are you so much passionate? How do you take out time that I try and contribute in my capacity as an alumni and as part of Cambrian Hall Alumni Association? And my answer is very simple. I enjoy what I do, and I think I get a lot of positive energy when I meet Cambrianites, my fellow classmates, teachers, seniors, juniors, and of course, also in this journey, I happen to also meet the current students. So I really enjoy that. Also, I feel that I owe a lot to this institute. I owe a lot to Cambrian Hall, my teachers and everything, because they are the one who made me who I have become today. And today's podcast is with a gentleman who is instrumental in making and shaping me as an individual. Though you would think that when you meet him, you would think that it would have been a cakewalk for me to get him on the podcast, but it's on the contrary. I've been trying to get him on the podcast for last 2 years. Mr. Nagendra Bhatt, popularly known as Mr. N.D Bhatt. So I've been trying to get him on the podcast for the last 2 years, and finally I have succeeded. And I hope you enjoy this conversation. We try and touch various topics and everything from boarding life to mathematics class to some controversial topics like school appointments, house appointments, how did the process happen. Of course, the most cliche question, his favorite batch amongst all, his favorite students and favorite boarder. So watch this podcast for some really interesting bits from Mr. N.D Bhatt. So hi, how are you? Let me put you right on the spot at the onset. Why did it take so long for me to get you on this chair? Because you've been delaying this for months and years now. I've been asking you, although, as I said, you've been my and Being Cambrianite's biggest supporter, but why did it take so long for you to come on this chair?
Hi Sachin, good afternoon, and so nice of you that you brought me here, and I know how amazing and exciting I am. Sachin, the only reason is that, I taught there as a teacher only, so I didn't study here. So I thought the Being Cambrianite means my roots from in Cambrian, or there's no other reason also. I mean, I was excited, but the only reason is that I did not study in Cambrian Hall. That's all. Okay. Otherwise, always there.
Okay, I appreciate that you finally agreed for it, and I had to use some of my other cards to get you here. So I'm happy that you finally came in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so how do you feel coming back? So your surrounding, all this surrounding, me in a school uniform, your student just outside the Judha Block, behind is Manwaring Block, and in front is Judha Block. How does this feel? And the teachers, the staff room is not very far as well. So what's the feeling? What's the emotions sitting in this place?
Sachin, don't believe. I'm in a different world, amazing feeling. I mean, to be there, Judha Block where my children used to play here, right in front of Manwaring also. I went up to the Judha Block, saw my classes, the the extra classes were going on. So amazing, you know. I mean, like all those days are revived, you know. And it seems as if Sachin, I taught in Cambrian Hall only yesterday. What importantly, things have changed. School is in very good look, but the feeling is the same, you know, that attachment and everything. So I'm having that hangover for the last 3 days. Like I've been coming here, so amazing, Sachin. Don't even ask me that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you go around the campus, you actually have the same feeling 20, 30 years back? The same feeling?
Sachin, same feeling. In fact, when the class was going up there, the teachers, I wanted to go to the class and teach a bit. To tell you the truth, yes, that kind of feeling was there, Sachin.
Okay.
Excitement was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you don't ask me to come there and
No,
then ask
no,
me a
no.
question.
No, Sachin. No, not at all. I shall not do that.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we are talking about the campus and the students, at times we don't realize that because we are on the other side of or receiving it. Or do you have any idea the amount of love the students have for you, the Cambrianites? Especially, I'm talking about my era. So, are you aware of the amount of love people have for you?
Yes, Sachin, certainly.
Okay.
Because I'm in touch with them, WhatsApp, Facebook, and I mean, keep watching what they write. What is their, how do they feel about me? What is their, so I know that, yeah. Okay. I know that.
You know some bit. But I'm sure you just know the surface bit. Because I meet my friends, I meet so many other Cambrianites that you wouldn't have interacted. People who don't speak publicly, who are very shy, very introvert. And I keep hearing these wonderful stories. And I think the common thing people say is that this gentleman changed my life, you know. And I'm sure they would have not met you for last 25, 30 years. Some people would have not met you for 30, 35 years, but they have this. So, which is why I asked. I think you might not have experience or you might not know the gravity in which the amount of love people have for you.
True, Sachin. I did interact with some of them,
Okay.
and they told me exactly what you were saying, that little things there, you know, sometimes the child not getting through, 1 or 2 marks difference, and then I would see that no, just because of 2 marks, he or she should not repeat the year, that kind of thing. With the borders especially, Sachin, I mean, naughtiness, sometimes, you know, beyond limit also. I would make sure that, I mean, it is within my, this thing, I mean, it doesn't go to the principal. So these are little things which children remember a lot. But few of them I interacted, but Sachin, to tell you the truth, that I do not know that I have this kind of fan following there, which I came to know from you. I know, but not so deeply as you know.
Okay.
That is there. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk. We're talking about our childhood. So let's talk a bit about which not of people would know. Tell us a bit about your childhood and your initial days of growing up. What do you remember? Tell us, and I'm sure a lot of my fellow Cambrianites would like to know. Tell us a bit about your childhood and your growing up.
I think, Sachin, that's the most important part you touched. Let me tell you, I grew up in Hills only.
Okay.
I studied there up to class 8th, all Hindi medium schools. Then I moved to Dehradun, Sachin, in 74. I stayed with my brother till I did my post-graduation. I studied in Gandhi Intermediate College. I mean, I did 9, 10, 11, 12, again Hindi medium school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a government school.
Yeah, it's government school. I studied there. Then I did my graduation from DVS, post-graduation also from DVS only. And Sachin, believe me, I mean, it's dream come true that I became a teacher in Cambrian Hall. I mean, coming down from Hills, studying in Gandhi Intermediate School throughout Hindi medium schools, and then teaching here. And today, I mean, so much fan following. Amazing, Sachin. It's beyond my imagination.
Okay. Now, tell us more about the childhood. So, how was you as a child, as a student? Were you very studious? Were you very hardworking? Although we can get an idea, but I still would like to know more about how were you as a student, as a child?
I used to be topper of the class up to class 8.
Okay.
After that, the competition started. I mean,
Okay.
there was big competition.
Uh-huh.
I was a little introvert, not into sports,
Okay.
not too much, very introvert kind, and I regret that.
Okay.
Had I done all those things, had I played soccer, cricket, or had I done debates or all those things, that I couldn't do. But I'm very introvert, but very hardworking. So
Okay.
much so my eyes also affected, because in hills, there's no proper light,
Correct. Correct.
I used to study in those lamps and something like that.
Okay.
Very tough life.
Yeah.
And to come out of that and reach to this level is unbelievable, Sachin.
Very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very happy, Sachin. Thank you. You touched that part of my life.
Okay.
Amazing.
So when we are talking about your child, tell us a bit about your family as well, your father, your mom, and how was the growing up? And you said till 8th you were in
Till 8th,
in the
yeah.
hills of Uttarakhand.
Yes.
And give us specifics, which village or name of the city or whatever.
Okay.
And also a bit about your parents as well.
Right, Sachin. So my parents, my mentors, everything for me. The place is like you go to Agastmani. Close to that, there's a place called village Tat.
Okay.
It's the Patti also, Patti Silgar Tat. It's
Okay.
around 10 kilometers from Agastmani, where I studied. Then I had my board exams. I had so many board exams. Class 5 was my board exam, which I did from Siddhasod. Okay, then class 8 also, Sachin, it was board exam, and I did it from Ramashram. Ramashram is very close to Tilwada.
Acha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously, before that I should have completed. We are 5 brothers.
Okay.
No sister.
Okay.
And 2 of my brothers are there only.
Okay.
Good. And one brother is in Gurgaon.
Okay.
Other brother is there here in Dehradun.
Okay.
Who is like my father, Sachin.
Okay.
He brought me down when I was in class 8.
Acha.
And as I told you, I studied here. So he is instrumental in shaping up my life. Everything he did.
So you, in the order of the 5 brothers,
Yes.
where did
I'm
you fit in?
4th, Sachin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 4th.
Yeah, the younger one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm 4th, and my younger brother is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we talk about the childhood and your growing up in the school, and you said you're a topper. So tell us about the N.D Bhatt. So you are my N.D Bhatt, my guru. So who was your N.D Bhatt in your life? Tell us more about that.
Sachin, I was very fortunate to have so many gurus. Believe me, right from class 1 to class 5, Mr. Gobind Ram Mamgan was my teacher. Not teacher, like father, my guru. Sachin, believe me, if my parents or my brother said anything bad about my guru, I used to cry.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, up to class 5. After that, classes 6, 7, and 8, there were teachers like Mr. Mithani, Atmaram Mithani, who taught me sciences and English. And wonderful. I used to make notes, diary, everything, all difficult words I used to write there. Then there was Mr. Bhatt, tall fellow, mathematics teacher. Then there was Mr. Rawat, history teacher. Then there was Sanskrit, Mr. Gayadat Shastri.
Okay.
So then that is up to class 8. Then when I came down to Dehradun and went to Gandhi Intermediate College, our principal was Mr. Chandra Kiran Gupta, very strict. And English teacher was Mr. Shukul Chand Sharma. And we all used to touch his feet. And the principal was very jealous of it. He was such a good teacher. Apart from that, all my teachers, Mr. Mahendra Singh Aswal, who taught us chemistry, Mr. Sadanand Gawa. It is a coincidence that my physics teacher had the same name as my father. Father Sadanand and physics teacher also Sadanand. And then there was Mr. Nautiyal, who taught him mathematics. So, Sachin, I'll tell you, I was very fortunate. Right from schooling up to college, I had very good teachers. In college, when I was in MSc, you don't think the teachers can't say anything. Mr. J.P. Gupta, the head of department, once he pulled us up because we were not attending classes. He shouted at us. And after that, we couldn't face him. Not that we are showing some arrogance or nuisance to him. We couldn't face him. And today also, I respect them a lot.
Okay.
That was the thing. I was very fortunate,
Very
as
nice.
you said, Sachin. So nice of you that I was instrumental in shaping up your life and many others. But somebody was there to do the same to me, and this is what is there.
Okay. So as you said about the teachers and the school and your parents, so I want to know mathematics. So was a particular as a mathematics, how good were you as a student, and were your teachers instrumental in shaping or you taking up teaching as a profession?
Sachin, it is just a coincidence that I joined teaching.
Mm-hmm.
My teachers were too good.
Mm.
Physics and mathematics were the two subjects which I liked the most. There's no doubt about it. So 83, I did my post-graduation. And you know, Sachin, how I came to teaching? When I was in class 10th only, then I used to give home tuitions. And the children from St. Joseph, convent and all those. So that means my communication skills had improved.
Okay.
And the taste for teaching also developed from there.
Okay.
So the first, 84 I joined Missouri Modern School.
Okay.
And from there I enjoyed teaching here. And no regrets today. In fact, I would have made the biggest blunder of my life had I not chosen this profession.
Okay, so as you just said, you said blunder of life, if you would have not.
Yeah.
So, and you said teaching came naturally to you. So was there any specific, everybody life has one turning point. So do you remember any turning point of your life throughout or your career where you thought, okay, this was my turning point, and then said, okay, then no looking back after that?
Truly, Sachin, my students, you know, because
Okay.
from day one, the kind of the love and the respect and the satisfaction I got, I mean, that kept me motivated. You know, I think this is the profession I should, and especially Cambrian Hall. When I joined Cambrian Hall in 87, after that, there was nothing looking behind. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know whether you know this or not, but, and I have spoken this to a lot of people have shared this, but one of the things, and I'll make it as simple as possible, teachers could be brilliant, intelligent, scholars, and big academician, but for a student, I feel a teacher is one who is effective to the weakest as well as the brightest student, right? That's what I feel. And when I see a lot of my teachers who had the biggest impact on most of the students, you were one of them. So did you do anything specific as your preparation? I'm sure for the lessons you would prepare. So did you do anything conscious as a teacher, or it came very naturally to you that you have to be effective to the weakest as well as the brightest lot in your class?
Sachin, I'll tell you the reason. As I told you, I used to be topper up to class 8. But after that, I wasn't that good. Now, since I was mediocre in the class, you know.
Okay.
So my goal.
I can't believe that you were a mediocre.
No, I was mediocre, Sachin. That's why I could even reach to a mediocre child. That's the reason. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, who is a topper, you know, topper will never reach to a mediocre child, because I was mediocre after that. So that was one of the reasons I could reach to the mediocre child also. And then, because apart, teaching is okay, Sachin. I used to prepare my lessons, will sit overnight and all that. But over the period of time, Sachin, what happened? I became more a motivator and mentor. That's all. I'll sum it up. Motivator and mentor. Teaching was okay.
But did you prepare so that you are effective enough, or you thought that came very naturally to you?
No, Sachin, I had to prepare a lot.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
To even today, I've got huge collection of books. I had to prepare a lot. I mean, sometimes sit till midnight. And Sachin also, my students were so good, you know. Those who used to prepare for IIT and engineering, sometimes I got stuck, you know. I couldn't solve a problem. I never hesitated to ask a child my problem. So, especially class 12, they helped me a lot.
In fact, that was one of the things that I wanted to know, that as a student, we would get intimidated a lot of times, but and maybe intimidated would be a wrong phrase, but as a teacher, right? So when your student would ask questions, how would you feel if there was anything which you found maybe not part of your preparation, or found something, oh, this is a bit challenging, or you've got on the spot, or maybe you don't have an immediate answer. So how would you feel at that point of time, you know?
Right, Sachin, I'll be very honest to it. Here, this situation came many times in the class, right? If I was comfortable, I would explain.
Okay.
But if I got stuck, I'll say, son, or my whatever the like, my dear, I'll solve it and come prepared. But they would never make fun. Yeah. In the first place, I'll prepare myself. But I mean, but a situation might come in the class that where you get stuck, you know, obviously mathematics is a deep ocean. Then I'll say, I'll prepare myself and solve this problem. But in the first place, I'll not give that chance. But quite natural.
There would have been, of course,
many
instances.
times. But I was very fortunate. My children would never say, "Arey sir ko to aata hi nahi hai." Fortunate, Sachin. 37 years. कभी किसी ने कि सर को तो कुछ नहीं आता, कभी नहीं, हो जाता है.
Okay, so let's start your life of Cambrian Hall, which is one of the most important part of what we are talking and the reason we are sitting here. Do you remember first day, first class in Cambrian Hall? And how was it? What was your emotions?
Sachin, not exactly. Like, I know 8th August 87 I joined.
Wow.
And
8th August
8th
1987.
August, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 8th August it should be.
Wow.
87 I joined.
That's like some memory.
Yeah. I was bachelor, very young.
Okay.
I do not, Sachin, remember which class, because prior to that I had taught for almost 3 years. Because Missouri Modern and then Convent of Jesus St. Mary also I taught.
So you came from Convent of Jesus?
Yes, I worked there, Sachin, from 85.
Okay.
April 85 to August 87.
Okay.
And then I joined here.
Okay.
So first experience of the class, I'll remember Missouri only, obviously, but the first, that was my, you know, third school.
Okay.
So not much.
Okay, so Cambrian Hall, you wouldn't remember what was your first class?
Sachin,
or initial days, just tell us initial days, first few days of Cambrian Hall, how did you feel in the campus, or anything, the first thing about Cambrian Hall, maybe your interview, maybe meeting the founder or the principal.
Oh yes, Sachin, very important part, you know, Sachin. I was looking for a job. I was in convent, Sachin, I was getting married. So I didn't have any accommodation to stay.
Okay.
I thought the best will be join a boarding school where you get accommodation.
Oh.
Okay. Sachin, that's the story behind.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would have never left convent. Right. So I came here, I applied here and then came for interview. And Sachin, right in front of that bell where the staff room, that bell.
Just there.
There used to be pine tree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So a gentleman met me and sound personality. And somebody told me he is the founder of the school.
Okay.
Colonel Shashi Shamshed Jangbahadur Rana.
Wow.
So sir interviewed me under this pine tree. Right? Nothing.
How candid
Tell
is
me,
that?
but where are you coming from?
Ah.
I said from convent. Oh, you're coming from girls' school. You will not be able to handle these boys, the boarders, especially. And that was a fact.
Okay.
So I say, sir, it's a challenge. So why do you want to switch over to Cambrian Hall? I say, sir, I want to be a resident teacher so that I get accommodation. I'm getting married very soon. Okay, fine, then we'll offer you a job. And before I could be interviewed by Mr. Singhal, he took me to the place where I was supposed to live, put up.
Residence.
Where that 7th block.
Okay.
Class. That. So he showed me the accommodation. I told sir, this is very small accommodation and I'm getting married. You know, ND, you prove your worth and will give you bigger accommodation. And which he did later. He fulfilled his promise. After that, I went to see Mr. Singhal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mr. Singhal told me, sir has already interviewed you. So here is your appointment letter. That's all.
Okay.
And then I joined. And first day when I joined, a friend of mine, Mr. K.C. Baugna, came to see me off and we came on a bike, right? And the bike was parked outside the gate, main gate. And we came inside, whatever it is. But unfortunately, Sachin, when we went out, some parts of his bikes were broken.
Okay.
I think some...
Not a great impression.
Broken, you know, maybe I don't know what happened. Okay. So maybe I had to pay for him or something. So that was not there.
Okay.
So when I came here, Sachin, I found myself in a different world.
Okay.
Because convent means girls' school.
Hmm.
Here I was offered the housemaster's post, and I was only 27.
So you were the housemaster for Judha House.
From day one, beta. Sachin,
That's how the loyalty for Judha House.
Don't say Sachin, this is there. And the boys were 18, 19-year-old, and I was only 27.
Wow.
It was very difficult, Sachin,
Okay.
to handle them. But here I'll make a mention of Rajan Vadera.
Oh.
Okay, Rajan Vadera,
Yeah,
he should have been 90 batch because
Correct.
he left early.
Yes.
So I was struggling, because these boys wouldn't listen to me. So Rajan was one.
You would have met him last few days.
Yes, I met him after so many
He
years.
came from London
Yes,
for the
Sachin.
event.
So he was the one who told me, sir, you are new and this is how you should deal with these boys.
Wow.
It will take time.
How
so
wonderful
I'm
is
thankful
that?
to Rajan,
What a beautiful human
Yeah,
being.
yeah. That
Very
is it.
nice.
Yes.
So that's an interesting one.
Yes, Sachin. But in class, I didn't have any. When I went to classes,
Yeah.
I was not teaching these senior classes, Sachin, then.
Okay.
I started teaching 9th and 10th.
Okay.
Because Melaram was taking one section of 12th.
Okay.
And Mr. A.K. Rana was taking another section.
Okay.
And beneath, Saxena used to be maths teacher for up to 10th only. So beneath me and one more teacher was there.
Vineet Saxena sir is also a fellow Cambrianite.
Yes.
I met him the
Yes.
day before, 72 batch.
Sachin, he was my colleague.
Okay.
And then
okay.
Mr. Melaram, because he was a photographer also. you know that.
Yes, correct.
He left.
Ah.
And that is why I started teaching class 11 in 89, I believe.
Okay.
The first year. And then the show went on.
Okay.
Because,
Okay. Now, because you're talking about some of your colleagues, that prompts me to ask, I'll come to the students later on,
Sure.
that prompts me to ask, tell us a bit about the staff room, your relationship with your fellow teachers. We know that you were popular with the students, but were the teachers, were you also very popular? And in particular, I want to know, is there any friendship that you made during those days with your fellow colleagues, and any one particular that you want to talk about?
Sachin, yes. So, Mr. Walsh was my inspiration. T.D. Walsh. I learnt a lot from him. Organization. He had been in boarding school for so many years, and it was my first experience. He taught me everything. So Mr. T.D. Walsh, Mr. RC Singhal was like my father, because his son and me were batchmates in DBS. Mr. RC Singhal's son, Sandeep Singhal, and me were batchmates in DBS. And then, of course, other teachers were there. Then later on, Mr. R.C. Unyal joined. Until today, he is my best friend. But I was very popular among the staff also. But then most of the time,
Mr. Unyal, our current vice president, vice principal.
Yeah, vice principal. Yes, yes. And because most of the time, because I was a resident teacher, so Sachin, to tell you the truth, I didn't have so much interaction with my colleagues as I was busy with my students. Because boarding school, daytime here, evening I used to be here, same there wherever I went after leaving Cambrian Hall. So fine, but I was very comfortable with everyone, very accommodating kind of. Yeah. But these two people, yes, Mr. T.D. Walsh and Mr. R.C. Singhal.
Tell us, because we wouldn't know, and because we were students, he was the principal heading the school, and also I think he had a very good, one of the longest span as a principal.
From 1984 till 2011. Yes.
So tell us your experience as a principal. I know you said you had a great relationship with him, but tell us a bit about more behind the scene. What aspect of his personality that you thought was really good as an administrator for running the school? What did you really think, those things that you...
Sachin, he came from RIMC, after working for 38 years as vice principal. So obviously he had very good background, and then he taught in USA, exchange program. He taught in UK. So there was so much to learn from him. As a human being, great as a human being. And in fact, ever since Mr. Singhal joined Cambrian Hall, the results improved, which everyone knows. Before that, because he would take children from service class. Yeah,
Hmm.
middle class family and service class.
Hmm.
And yes, but there was only one thing about sir, he was very miser.
Hmm.
The pocket money, we would fight for the borders. No,
Acha.
these 5 rupees are good enough, 4 rupees are good enough, then we would fight. The prefect getting only 2 or 3 rupees more, something like that.
Okay.
But as a human being, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, though you did briefly touch, and I want to dwell more on this topic, because you lived almost in two parallel worlds, right? One was as a teacher, mathematics teacher, and academician, and your second bit was as an administrator, Judha House Master, looking after the boarding. Tell us more about the boarding life and what aspects of the boarding life did you enjoy, or experiences, any episodes that you think, because that is one aspect that as day scholars we would know very less, right? So tell us, because, and that was a world in itself, so tell us more about something that you remember from those days, especially
Sachin.
because as an administrator you were there for quite some time in the school.
Surely, 16 years and 8 months in Cambrian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
16 years and 8 months.
Okay.
So when Sachin, I didn't have any prior experience of working as a housemaster,
Mhm.
because you are asking me to touch that part.
Correct.
Housemaster,
Yes,
not
correct.
teacher.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any experience. In beginning, it was very difficult.
As you just mentioned about
It was very difficult, Sachin, to control them.
18 year to you yourself 26, 27.
Very difficult,
Okay.
But slowly what happened, the children started understanding me. In beginning, because they suspect, what kind of person will he be? Will he be a spy to the principal? That is very important, Sachin.
Okay.
And will he carry tales to the principal? But that didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, it never happened. Mr. Walsh also used to tell me, ND, he used to call me ND. Try dealing everything at your own level. Never let it go to the principal. So slowly what happened, Sachin, and that was the thing, they started respecting me, they started trusting me. So much so, when they were in need of something, I used to go out of the way. Now boarders, because they can't take any tuitions and anything as such. On holidays or evening, I used to be here to help them. In fact, I used to chase them. So these were little things, they trusted me.
Okay.
And then slowly, Sachin, you won't believe, I started joining this. I started to think that I'm also a boarder there. And 34
I think you touched a very important thing, trust. For any relationship to dwell, any relationship to be successful, which you made with the boarders, I think trust, any relationship, trust is very important. And I think that is something that you worked initially. I think you pretty bang on, as you said. And that is how I think it would have become, the trust aspect was the most important thing.
Obviously, many children, Sachin, कई हैं जिनकी लाइफ में बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है कि कोई एपिसोड हो गया है, उसको हमने ऐसे दबा दिया अपनी लेवल पे, आगे नहीं गए, कोई ड्रामा क्रिएट कर दिया है. कभी कभी ये भी होता था कि प्रिंसिपल के सामने ड्रामा कर दो ऐसे करके. ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ें सचिन की जो वो इम्पैक्ट पड़ा. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल दिस, आई थिंक दिस योगेश, few days back I interacted with him, and
you mean Yogesh Bhandari?
Yogesh Bhandari,
my classmate.
Your classmate. Okay. And he told me small things, Sachin. Sir, you don't know, you will not remember, but you were my class teacher, and
9th and 10th.
Yeah,
my class teacher as well.
Yes, and he always checked me, and then because boarders sometimes get off the track.
Yeah.
So he must have also been off the track.
Okay.
So then he was like failing by a few marks, 1 or 2 marks.
Okay.
And Sachin, it was at the back of my mind that this guy is going to become my house captain.
Wow.
Right. So I decided, no, that cannot happen. That is one incident. There's another boy, Manoj Sharma. He mentioned me, I think 2-3 years back. You don't know, sir, what you did for me. I said, what did I do? Class 11, I was not very good. And you had decided that you'll make me house captain. So same thing happened there. That was the second thing. There was another bit, long back, Rohit Bansal, 91 batch. So when I was in Noida, I spoke to him. And you
So
also
it's just,
told me.
sorry, I'm interrupting you, but it's so fascinating that you remember A, the names,
हाँ बेटा.
B, you remember their batch.
हाँ.
So that's fascinating. I think as students, we don't remember, you know,
Yes,
when we
yes.
meet friends and seniors, juniors, their batch. But okay, please go on. Yeah,
Right,
go ahead.
बेटा.
Yeah.
So he told me, मैंने कहा रोहित हाउ आर यू, कि सर अच्छा है, आपका आशीर्वाद है, नहीं तो हम तो बदमाश थे, हमारी तो लाइफ ही ऐसी हो जाती. Who is now 50 old now.
Okay.
ऐसे बच्चे हैं, तो ये तो इनका तो कंट्रीब्यूशन तो है ही है, बाकी और चीजें जो कि.
So hold your thoughts as you were just talking about specific students. I'm going to read out a message that I got as I messaged a lot of people that I'm going to be having a podcast with you.
Yes.
So I'm just reading verbatim exactly the message. I came to Cambrian Hall as a government scholar from a residential scholarship scheme. Coming from a small town in Hindi medium school and away from home, I was very homesick and I started writing letter to my parents, who came and tried to explain me that Cambrian Hall is far better school than what government schools in Barabanki would offer him. However, Sachin, it was the kind words of Mr. N.D Bhatt that gave me the courage to stay in Cambrian Hall, which definitely changed my life. Unquote. Prashant Trivedi, class of 1995.
Oh, Prashant Trivedi. I thought it is Dinesh Tiwari.
Okay.
But Prashant, that coming from you is wonderful. And he is in US.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Prashant and Sachin as well.
Yeah. So there are loads of questions that I had. A lot of people asked me that I should ask you, but I'll try and see whatever I was like to accommodate. Another, I think, interesting bit, and because I'm pretty comfortable talking to you anything and everything. So this is one topic which was a contentious topic during our growing up as schools, and I would like to bring you on hot seat for that, was the appointments of the school appointments, deciding on who would the school appointments be. So we were, although we just got to know as the announcement happened, we didn't know what happens behind the scene, right? So on behalf of everyone who's intrigued, because as kids we were intrigued, right? What's the process? How does it happen? So just tell us. And of course, I also believe that every era would have had their own process. Every administration would do their own, because the current process would be completely different. True. The initial years would have been completely different. But I'm more interested to know, because I'm fortunate that I started in the era that you were there in Cambrian Hall, and you were the Housemaster and in the thick of things of deciding. So tell us a bit about behind the scene. What was the process that? How did it happen? Because I understand there were a team of, I'm sure Housemaster and principal would decide.
Very true.
But so tell us the process. What happened behind the scene, and anything that you can tell us about.
Very good point, Sachin. I'll tell you, Sachin, normally, because Mr. Singhal was academician, you know. So the topper of the school will normally be the school captain. And the topper girl, boy and girl, normally the topper will be the school captain, and then. So the selection of school captain, boy and girl, vice captain, boy and girl,
taken care with the
principal, Mrs. Butler, the vice principal, Mr. D.B. Rana, PTI, and of course the 4 Housemasters also were in the picture.
Okay.
But mainly,
so 7 of you.
Yes. But it was mainly the principal and the vice principal and Mr. D.B. Rana. Mr. D.B. Rana, okay. Yes, PTI.
Yeah.
From. And then 4 houses, they didn't have anything to say, because we would choose.
Okay.
House captain and house prefect.
Okay, so you're saying the demarcation was such that the school captain, school vice captain would be by these 3.
Yes.
And the houses would be completely your domain. Yes. All 4 of you.
Yes. In fact, what used to happen, Sachin, Mr. Singhal had made a kind of pro forma, what we call it. And then in that we were supposed to fill
your nomination or
yes,
your
around
recommendation.
9-10 points were there.
Okay.
Studies, sports, behavior, conduct, whatever. All those things we used to fill in, and we would give around 5-6 choices. Because so 4 will be there from my house, no?
Okay, correct.
Boy,
2
girl,
boys, 2 girls.
2 girls.
Yeah, 4.
From there then. But sometimes even the principal and the vice principal had a say.
Okay.
You know, Mr. Bhatt, don't you think this boy is better?
Sir, okay, so you said they were basically like two aspects. So one was the school captain, school vice captain, which these three decided, and the houses was less to the 4 house masters.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So house masters, how did you go about? You said they were just purely on academics.
Right.
Okay. What about the house?
Everything,
Houses?
Sachin,
Okay.
their conduct, studies,
Okay.
sports. Normally what we used to do, Sachin, like we used to make a balance, you know. For example, like if somebody is good in games and somebody good in studies, so make one captain, one prefect.
Okay.
But discipline was very important because they had their, a file used to made by Mr. Singhal was very particular about his work, you know.
Okay.
So he used to maintain a file, and even for the boarders, I had a complaint register where all their mischief and everything used to be recorded.
Okay.
It became easy for me. Day scholars, I couldn't do that, but then day scholars, Sachin, I didn't have much interaction, you know, only in the classes. So I would ask the, you know,
Class teachers,
subject teachers
Okay.
of the seniors.
Okay.
Isn't
So
it something?
just
like
give
that?
us drop some names. Let's make it interesting. So which teachers would you actually talk to? Don't tell me Mr. Rana, because he would only pull your leg.
Talk to in the sense, Sachin.
As in, you said you will take some inputs from them about the
Oh,
students.
input.
Yeah.
Mr. Walls again,
Okay.
mutually.
Okay, because he was also English teacher.
Obviously,
and
yeah.
housemaster.
And housemaster also,
Okay.
Mr. Walls.
Okay.
Sometimes I would ask Mr. D.B. Rana because
Sports
obviously
teacher, of course.
games field.
Yeah.
Mr. D.B. Rana was there. Mr. RC Singhal, obviously,
Okay.
because he joined in 92.
Yeah.
So Mr. RC Singhal, I think these were the mainly
Okay.
thing there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But my observation would be there. I used to I myself used to observe a lot, you know, because yeah.
Okay. Okay. So again, dwelling more on this very topic, there was one exception that you did as an housemaster in my batch, and I think you already stated the name. Usually, the norm was that a boarder boy would become a prefect. So one of the position would be a captain or prefect would be a boarder boy.
Yes.
But in my year, 95-96, for Judha House, both of your houses were given to Judha were boarders. So the house captain, house prefect as well for Judha House were boarders, and day scholars were not there. So wasn't it a tough decision, and how could you actually take that? And was there any specific reason that you took that decision?
Sachin, should I be very honest and candid about
of course,
it?
of course.
Boys, I didn't have much choice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That, sorry to say, I didn't have any choice.
Okay.
But girls, I had so much of choice.
So you're talking about my batch?
Yes.
Okay.
96.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had too much of choice?
Yes. So girls, I had to become very bad also, like, because it was very difficult, Sachin, very awkward. And so much so later on, I had to say sorry to some of them.
Okay.
To the girls, you know, sorry, I couldn't do any. I had so much of choice, Sachin.
Okay.
But boys, I didn't have much choice.
Okay.
That was the only reason, and that is, I think, in the history of Cambrian and all that, the boy also boarder and
no,
prefect. And,
captain and prefect both?
Yeah, both from boarding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prashant Upadhyay and Yogesh
Yogesh
Bhandari.
Yeah.
That is there.
Okay. Now, let's come back to academics part, the mathematics. So, I would like to take you to an annual event or annual episode that would happen, was which among students was like a lot of talked about. We would all talk about, oh, this annual event has happened finally this year. You thrashing a boy. So that would happen only once a year. Right? So I would like to know more about that. And also, did you used to practice yoga and meditation? How could you be so calm and quiet and nice? And what would happen? What would it take for a student to break that meditation yoga of yours one fine day in that calendar year that he would get the thrashing from you? What would it take actually? Because we would all discuss. Everybody, the hot topic would be, "Aaj pitai hui hai." Why? So tell us about that.
Sachin, I'll tell you, because I was a housemaster, and little mischief children will always do.
Take.
वो तो tolerate हो गया, सब कुछ हो गया.
Okay. So you said you meant the patience grew higher because of that aspect.
House master say.
Okay. Okay.
Like house master means there, what do you call it? Like mentor, what do you call it? The
Like a parent, guardian.
What do you call it? Foster parent, something? What is the word used?
Yeah, you can say guardian.
Guardian,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So that taught me a lot.
Hmm.
Only Sachin, I used to bang, you know, somebody, I used to bang if the child did not study. Because after all, Sachin, the parents are spending so much on the child, and the child is not coming up to the mark. When the child is not performing, and supposing sometimes I call a child, you come and take help from me, and he or she not willing. So that's all. Discipline part, Sachin, I would never hammer a child. It was only about the studies.
But I want to know more about. So what would have that taken for? Because you would only be maybe one in the entire calendar year, only once, and you would go really angry. I still remember you thrashing one of our classmate or somebody in other class, and it became a huge topic of discussion for all of us. So I'm sure that was there a tipping point that person would have reached? You said not discipline, it was to do with studies.
Discipline also, Sachin, sometimes maybe in the hostel, you know, if I saw somebody taking wrong stuff or something like that.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
That was one thing I don't want to make a mention here.
Okay.
That one, or morely about studies. Otherwise, there's nothing else. If maybe somebody making fun of me, even that I will tolerate.
Yeah.
I saw children copying me. I admired it. I accepted it. No problem. That's fine.
Okay.
So it was only once a year that is there.
Okay.
But if it was there, it was bad actually.
Okay.
That day used to be very bad for me.
For you as well.
Yeah, for me, because I used to very upset Sachin after that.
Yeah, that was very evident on your face that you would be very, very upset.
I used to call that particular child later and
Acha.
tell you, convince what was the reason. And then Sachin, I'll tell you, the guys I hammered the most remember me the most. Yes, Sachin, true.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they say, sir, we were on the wrong side, and you corrected us, and this today where we are just because of you. So this is
Okay. So while we are talking about you getting upset, so I want to know this, although you did touch upon it, but because I know this from a student's perspective, there were times that the bright ones, the really bright students, would purposely go and take, and I'm talking about class 12th, they would actually go with a question. They would know that you either could be out of the syllabus or maybe of a engineering preparation, etc., would actually go to you and ask and try and put you in a spot. So my question is, were you able to gauge that this is happening out of purpose, or were you very innocently trying to just solve the question?
Sachin, to tell you the truth, no, I never thought that.
Okay.
Maybe children did it, but I never that way. Because then many problems I couldn't solve. As I told you earlier also, I would say, sorry, son, sorry.
But I think that agenda was defeated very well. As in, it was all in fun and good spirits. But I think that the agenda wasn't solved because you took it on stride. You never felt uncomfortable. Your body language was fine, and I think exactly what you said.
Yes.
So you would say that, okay, I'll come back to you if you are not able to solve it.
Obviously, it used to happen, Sachin. Children would go for, those days they used to go for Fitzy. And many problems which, I mean, used to be from there, I was
So
not
you knew
aware.
that that's coming from there?
Yes, I knew.
Okay.
But then I would try and say, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'll go through and tell you.
And I feel, sir, because of this genuineness of yours, people still would always remember you, and also felt maybe they weren't encouraged to do it again and again. You know, they would just do it for the fun.
That only once. If they did for fun, only once. Yeah. But I could never make out that it was fun, you know. I thought that because they were convinced. When I said, I mean, when I told a child, no, I cannot do it. So I wouldn't see they laughing in the class, something like that. No, nothing else.
Okay, we're talking about mathematics. So I'm intrigued to know which chapter of mathematics, let's talk about our class 11th and 12th, just for academic purpose, was your favorite and the least favorite chapter?
Sachin, it was that differential calculus, that is differentiation and integration. I enjoyed a lot, even I'm enjoying now. Probability, I used to be very scared.
Is it?
Yes.
But I thought, okay.
I could teach children, they told me you taught us, many children,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I was not very comfortable
Okay.
teaching probability. Yeah, that was there, yeah. It was difficult. And there were other contents which are no longer in the syllabus. I was not comfortable. But now they are no longer in the syllabus. That part was a little difficult. For example, application, that kinematics, some application of integration. That part is difficult still.
Okay.
But it's not in the syllabus now.
Okay.
So probability used to be very scary for me. Yeah.
So I've been asking a lot of questions which are more from a student's perspective. They wanted to ask you. I thought I'm in the right seat. I can ask you lots of questions. Okay. Another one, which is again a cliche question. A lot of people would have come and asked you, but I will still ask you.
Yeah.
Your favorite batch till now, and you cannot name two because you have a habit of saying 2, 1, 2. Just one batch that you taught in the entire history of your, in your tenure of Cambrian Hall.
Only one batch?
Yes, only one batch.
Not two?
No.
Well, Sachin, this is 96 only. Sachin's batch. 96 only. But only one you said, very bad, Sachin, on your part.
That was the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. You can now name the second one as well.
92?
Okay.
Yes.
Rajiv Jindal.
Yes.
Okay.
1992.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Class of 96, we are the best. Okay. According to sir, right? But that's fine. Okay. Same question in the same breath. A lot of people would have asked you. And I know it's very difficult for a student, and I'm saying in all honesty, it's very difficult for a student to ask, oh, who was your favorite, who was not your favorite. I know it's a difficult, but I'm just generally asking from a teacher's perspective, one or a student that you remember, I would say, favorite, you could say, one that you would remember as a boarder and one as a day scholar, that you would remember that one of each, one as a day scholar and one you. For it, not necessary academics, not necessary for A, B, C, D reasons, not necessary. But somebody you think when you close your eyes, you said, okay, those two people that you always remember.
As a boarder?
One as a boarder and one as a day scholar. Because you were equally part of both the worlds that Cambrian Hall had.
Prashant Upadhyay?
Boarder.
Yeah, though he studied for a short period here as a boarder.
Okay.
And of course, the person is standing, I'm sitting in front of me, Sachin.
Oh God, seriously?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, guys, so this is not a fixed question.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you very much for that honor. And Prashant,
Pleasure.
my friend, 96 again, both the ones. Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that. Sir, now, again, this is a question which a good friend of mine has sent to me, that he said I should ask you, is that in the last 30 years, right, or 25 years or 30 years, whatever we can call it, what has changed in terms of education that you have seen? Because you've seen so many eras, right? So how do you think it has changed over a period of time?
Okay, the education.
Yes.
Yeah. Sachin, my time, it used to be kind of, traditional. Everything, no technology, nothing, normal writing on the board and the children asking so many questions. Today, it's become very, I don't know what's the right word to be used, that so many platforms are available and smart classes. And our time, Sachin, even you will agree with me that thorough study used to be there. Today, it's all cut short, So that has changed a lot.
Okay.
No
okay.
descriptive, it is kind become objective, because question papers are also like that.
Okay.
So that has changed a lot.
Okay. And in the same breath, let's say, let me take you back to the history, right? During your tenure, if there was one thing that you think now, in hindsight, we all become very intelligent, that, everything was right in that point. But now in hindsight, if you think there was one thing that you would like to go back to the history and change, if you had that power, right, during your tenure, what would you change
Sachin,
in your tenure?
I'm giving online classes. I wish I had this platform that time,
Okay.
how much difference it would have made.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wish during our era as well, we had the online?
Yes.
Okay.
Would have been lot of exposure.
And okay.
Yeah.
Your lot of exposure means you would have touched a lot of other students as well?
Yes.
Okay, from that perspective.
Yes.
But you still frame from an education point of view or the relationship point of view, or teacher or student, the online teaching is still able to get that?
No, Sachin. Virtual classes?
Yes.
No. Nothing as physical.
But purely from a reach point of view, you are saying that if the online was available at that point of time, you as a teacher would have been able to reach to?
Right.
Okay.
For example, some children who left in class 10, they joined different schools. Even they would have taken my services, which they regret. Okay. Sir, I left Cambrian Hall, you were my teacher, but I joined some other school and I couldn't find such good teachers or something like that. So I wish, like Zoom, Microsoft, Google Meet, I had during my time.
Although, sir, because I know you so well personally and I know your family, but I would still like to know from you the contribution of Asha ma'am, and of course you have wonderful kids, both Ashima and Harshit, but I would like to know more in particular about Asha ma'am and her contribution, because the amount of time and energy that you gave to Cambrian Hall and the students, which you still do, talk us through about those years, because you said you were newly married, but you were still spending so much of time and energy in school. How did it go through, and did it by any way affected your personal life with ma'am?
Obviously, Sachin, 87 I got married, and because most of the time I used to be away, So on the home front, she did everything. I didn't have Sachin any dressing sense. She taught me that also. My likings and everything. And so much so today also, she's taking care of everything at home. I'm taking care of outside what needs to be done. And really thankful, amazing जो जीवन साथी जो मिला है, अमेजिंग। मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं था सचिन, वो तो उसने मुझे इंसान बना दिया। अगर उसका कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं होता सचिन, मैं इतना टाइम आप लोगों को कैसे देता?
100% agree,
ठीक है, टाइम कहाँ से देता? क्वालिटी टाइम। और उसने मुझे सपोर्ट किया। एट टाइम्स मैंने खाना छोड़ के बच्चों को पढ़ा नहीं गया, लेकिन उसने उसको अप्रिशिएट किया। तो इसलिए बेटा वाइफ का रोल तो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है यार, अब भी है। तो मिसेस आशा भट्ट, मैं तो आपके लिए बड़ा थैंकफुल हूँ। हाँ भाई, आप मेरी केयर कर रही हैं, तो वो तो मैं बोलूँगा ही। Yes.
Okay.
Great
nice.
contribution, beta.
Very nice. Okay. We are almost coming towards the end of our discussion. Although you know this, I can go on and on and on for hours, but tell us about your last few years that you've spent now that you've, although I don't want to use that phrase of retired, but you've retired from Bishop Cotton School and from active teaching per se, as in the going to classes and teaching, which you did 3 years back. Tell us, because we would like to know, the students, the Cambrianites would like to know, how is your current life and how are you spending, and what are you doing in your day-to-day life? Because a person like you who can't stay away from kids and academics, so how do you keep yourself busy these days?
Okay, Sachin, the love for teaching, the passion for teaching, and love for children, still there. The day I retired, a small thing I wrote on the Facebook that I've retired now, and those who wish to take online classes from me, so the journey began. One of my students,
3 years back, right?
yeah, almost 3 years,
Yeah.
but 3.5.
Yeah.
Kapil Bandlish. I started teaching his son because he called me up from Australia. That was the first child. Then, of course, Shailesh, your brother, wanted my services for his son. And then this process went on. So today I've got around 6 to 8 kids from UK,
Wow.
courtesy Sachin Bajpai and Shailesh Bajpai. And Kapil Bandlish, I've got 3 children from Australia.
Okay.
So courtesy. And Sachin, to tell you the truth, I have no time to teach. I'm so busy. In
Very
fact, from
nice.
India also, Pankaj Biani, way back, 92 batch. I
Okay.
taught his daughter, and after that, endless. It went on. So, online classes, synthesizer, I play music. Lot of time I spend on that. Play old songs. And reading, I don't do so much. Physical exercise, lot of walk and all, 6 to 8 kilometer every day. And this is what keeps me going.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
that's
good.
it.
Okay. And now that you're still connected with Cambrian Hall and the Cambrianites, I would like to know from you your association with Cambrian Hall Alumni Association and what you think. How are we doing it? What are the things that you think that we could work more upon? And what's your take on the activities that we do, the initiatives that we take? And yeah, there's a part B as well to the question, but first this one.
Sachin, I don't have to say much, You can see it. I'm sitting here, beautiful infrastructure, whether you go to the boarding here and there, the alumni meet, which we never thought of, that such thing will also exist. So, Sachin, I mean, a lot has been done already. So, I wouldn't like to add anything to it. I mean, it's great going. Whether you old Cambrianites, school is doing good, and I think it's all, no comments.
Okay.
It's good going, yeah.
Okay. Part B to my question that I wanted to know is pure, and this is my question is more from, not from Cambrian Hall, but Cambrian Hall Alumni Association. We have our relationship with the ex-teachers, but anything in particular that you think that we alumni can engage or do something or come together? Is there any aspect that that comes to your mind that we can do together?
Nothing beyond. Okay. What you are doing is amazing. Nothing beyond. Yeah, amazing work you are doing. I mean, what you are doing is beyond my imagination. I would have never thought of that this can also be done. For example, this trekking. I mean, is that your brainchild?
Yeah, the alumni team, everyone. Yeah, everyone.
So, I mean, your thinking starts where I think, I stop thinking, the thinking starts from there. So, Sachin, nothing.
Okay, okay. Anything from the school point of view that you think constructively that you would like to say that this is one area that you would like, although the school is doing good now, and anything that you think that this is one aspect that we can work more upon, the school per se, not the alumni, but the school per se?
No, Sachin, because I've been to last 2-3 days and every year I come and see, fine, children are good.
Yeah.
You
went to the boarding as well. Do you want to tell about your experience? How was your experience to the boarding?
Lovely.
You physically went?
Sachin, everything I changed.
Okay.
When these boarders said that we wish that we had this kind of facility.
Okay. So you mean the alumni, the ex-students who visited during the alumni meet?
Yes.
Okay.
Around 15 of them.
Okay.
And wonderful.
Class of 99.
Wonderful. Basically. And one thing I must compliment these boarders, especially because they are so respectful, humble, amazing, I complimented Sir Krishna sir also for that. Okay. And the principal also.
So now, because largely you meet Cambrianites and because you're very active both online as well as during any of the Cambrian Hall events that happen, you try and make yourself available. But when you meet your old students, right, what is the one thing that is most which gives you the maximum gratification? What is that when you meet a student of your old student? What is one thing that you...
Sachin, that satisfaction, you know, or whatever you call it. Children coming from different parts of the world, and some of them saying, we just came here to meet you, to see you, from US, from UK, from Australia, from Singapore, and all the way from there, and that one sentence that we came here to meet you. Great satisfaction, and yeah, I'll just sum it up like that.
Okay. And one thing that you think your profession or your relationship, which has unchanged in the last 30 years, what would you think has remained unchanged all through these years? What, according to you, has just not changed? Everything, because we know we live in an era where everything changes every 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, technology, world, everything, infrastructure, etc., etc. But what, according to you, has just been exactly what it was?
The same for me.
Yeah.
I told you, Sachin, love for kids and passion for teaching. That's all. Nothing has changed. Still that hunger is there. Yeah, that hunger is there. It's not dying.
Okay. And this everybody could vouch for what I am about to say, but I think if there was an X-ray that would have been done of your body, and if we are able to somehow dissect one of the cells, even in that cell we would see Cambrian Hall, right? What do you think about it, and how, why would you think, am I right in what I said?
Yeah, very true.
And what would be the reason for it, you think?
Sachin, I joined Cambrian Hall in 87. Financially, I was not very, good. I didn't have much teaching experience. So I owe so much to Cambrian Hall, Sachin, that I got married here. My daughter was born here. My son was born here. My daughter did her 10th from here. My son did his 7th grade from here, right? Whatever investment I could do, it was courtesy Cambrian Hall. Okay, whatever I could buy, a piece of land. So the Cambrian Hall is here. How can I forget it? Everything I owe so much to it. Yes.
Okay.
I hope I got your point.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I think we've largely touched upon everything. I'm very thankful to you, sir, for giving me this time and opportunity, although it took some time to get you on this seat. I hope you enjoyed having this conversation, and it was almost like the other conversation that we have. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Sachin, amazing. You won't believe how excited I was for this and how confident. Today, for the first time, normally I'm very camera conscious. But since Sachin is there, so the feeling is same as he's having a class with me. And Sachin,
the only difference was you did not ask question, I was asking question.
Yes, I'm telling you. I never, for a moment, I never thought that I'm being interviewed or some that kind of interaction, as if I'm talking to you 25 years back, teaching you. And I must thank you, Sachin. You don't say that it was difficult for you to get me over here. I'm thankful to you that you called me here and you kind of...
Pleasure is all mine.
Yes.
Pleasure is all mine.
So
Pleasure is all
amazing, mine. Sachin. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
as we just going to wrap this up, any message for your fellow colleagues, teachers, Cambrianites, alumni?
Yes.
Any message for them?
True, Sachin. For teachers, be good at heart. I mean, not that kind, don't have any professional kind of relations. The relation should be emotional also, This is what I believe, more than professional, emotional relations. And for students, I'll always say that remain grounded, humility, look after yourself, do a lot of physical exercises, because this is the age, 45, and where everything happens. Do not run after money. Take care of self also. Health is more important than money. This is what I believe in. So that is the message.
Thank you very much, sir.
Right, Sachin?
Thank you for your time, and I
Pleasure.
love this conversation.
Pleasure.
And I'm 100% sure all my fellow Cambrianites watching this would enjoy it. Thank you very
so much, Sachin.
Yeah. So I hope all of you enjoyed watching this, but I have a request here. We would love to keep doing more and more of these podcasts, but I have a request that I know when we see the stats, there are quite a few of you who are watching these podcasts but not subscribing to our official channel. So I would request all of you to please subscribe to the official channel for Cambrianites, which is Cambrian Hall Alumni Association. And please encourage us, and we will try our best to keep getting more and more Cambrianites and stories of Cambrian Hall, and which you, I think, kind of enjoy. So thank you very much for your love and support. I must say that I have been very lucky that I've got a lot of support and love from all of you. So thank you very much, and thank you to our official sponsors as well. So thank you and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.